Hello traders, welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 256. Let's have a look how the market developed this week, what kind of opportunities we had, and most importantly, what we can expect for the upcoming week. Without further ado, let's get into it. Before we get into the technicals, let's first have a look at the economic calendar. So on Monday, we don't have any news, which pretty much makes me skip the whole day. And then on Tuesday, we're having retail sales. However, Tuesday is the day before the interest rate from the Fed. That is coming out a little bit later. So to me, kind of Tuesday could be tradable, a little bit 50-50. But Wednesday, the whole day is going to be expecting the Fed rate that is potentially going to be cut by 25 basis points. And that is already priced into the dollar. There are some rumors that they can even cut it with 50 points. And if that happens, oh man, the dollar could potentially flush. So let's see. This is absolutely the highlight of this week, the press conference, and of course the Fed rate. The market will be awaiting for this. So if you can be patient to wait for that to be over, you're going to do amazing. And then on Thursday, the market is very likely going to be making a very big move on Thursday, because usually the market moves a lot after Fed rates. And then of course, with that, you also have unemployment claims during US session to potentially support that. You also have GBP, monetary policy statement. They are keeping it the same for now. So let's see if that happens. And then on Friday, quite a few red news as well. Bank of Japan. So if you're trading the JPY, well, watch out for that. The press conference is going to be important to see how the yen is doing. CAT news as well. Nothing really for the US dollar on Friday. But to me, Tuesday is a trading day. Wednesday is a skip because the market is going to be waiting for that. And then Thursday and Friday are potentially tradable, with the biggest focus being potentially on Thursday. So that is my plan for the next week. Let's of course see how the charts are looking like. But of course, with that expectation for Wednesday, we really have to detach to try to figure out what is going to be happening at the end of at the beginning of the week. Wait for Wednesday and then focus towards the end of the week. Before we start, just very quickly right here, make sure to click the first link in the description, as I'm inviting you to our school community that is almost getting to 1,000 members. We are engaging very nicely, everybody sharing some amazing stuff. And not to say that the classroom here and the market structure mastery and the smart money mastery chapters are absolute amazing, the entry techniques as well. So I invite you there, link in the description. All right, getting started with the DXY. So the DXY, again, let's just mark out this liquidity that is being taken, this monthly swing low. We wicked that out. And so far, this monthly candle, you can see, hasn't made a move. I do believe this September is starting very slow and it's already 2 weeks into it, right? So 2 weeks into it, and you can see like the 2 weekly candles are just nothing. And I do believe right now the market is kind of in a little bit of an accumulation area, right, to potentially then start doing something. So again, as you can see, we had a very lovely drop here. We took out that liquidity point and then the market just started ranging, right? And of course, you can see that consolidation. If I then just go like to a time frame, like the volatile time frame, you can see that the market doesn't really have a trend right now. So what we had is this weekly bearish imbalance here that the market was reacting from. It actually tapped in, it tried to push, and it fails to take the liquidity, which to me is super strange. Then I kind of shifted my bias. I was like, okay, well, if the market doesn't want to take that low, then potentially this high is weak. Guess what? The market didn't also take out that high. This to me signifies an absolutely perfect consolidation. The market just building liquidity on both sides and then awaiting for a catalyst, which to me, it could potentially be the Fed rate this week. Okay, so currently I have absolutely no bias. Honestly, I don't know what the DXY is gonna do. So we had like, this is just a pure consolidation. We tap into the weekly, we push down, we actually make a daily imbalance that the market could potentially push lower and target the liquidity. It just stopped, reversed. Okay, then we're having a bullish imbalance to then potentially target that high. The market tapped in, it tried to push, it got super close, right? I was actually looking for trades to get towards that high. And then it just flipped, and guess what we're getting right now? We're getting a very tiny little bit of a daily bearish imbalance, but I'm absolutely not going to trade this. Why? Because I recognize that we are in consolidation conditions. We had bullishness here, we had bearishness here, oh, we had bullishness here, and right now we're having a bearishness here, right? The market is just jumping up and down, and it's not even taking liquidity. So it was very choppy on the intraday as well. Here, it really looked like it wanted to pop higher, but they just flushed lower. And right now on the hourly time frame, the market is just like consolidated on Friday. Now, of course, you could look at potential areas like that, but we also have that daily imbalance to potentially stop price. But personally, I'm going to wait for Monday, see what it does. Then on Tuesday, if there is some sort of a little trade with some sort of context to potentially drive us somewhere, I could entertain an idea. But if I really want to be a professional, I will just wait for Wednesday, especially for trading USD pairs, waiting for Wednesday, waiting for the Fed, waiting for the FOMC to actually see what's going on is going to be very key. That can later introduce clarity for Thursday, Friday, and also for the upcoming week. So not this week that is coming, but the week after this week. Okay. So really nothing to say on the DXY. I don't say I'm bullish. I don't say I'm bearish. I honestly don't know. The market is consolidating. So I'm just waiting for more clues for the market to tell me what it wants to do. And of course, I'm going to be reacting as it develops. So let's have a look how the other pairs look like. Maybe they can give us some more clues about the dollar as well. Unfortunately for me, loving to trade Euro USD being my main pair, well, this month it's absolutely choppy so far. Really hasn't made a move. Since it took out that monthly swing high here, it's just chopping, right? Dropping then to the weekly time frame, well, this week we actually tapped into this very tiny weekly bullish imbalance here. The market is reacting very nicely from it. Now, does that mean the market is just gonna rally higher? It looks pretty good, all right? So if I say that Euro USD looks more bullish, then that could potentially mean that the outlook for the DXY could be bearish. And if the rate is actually cut, that is bearish for the currency. So I aim towards more bullishness on EU and also bearishness on the DXY. But you should also know that the Euro, the ECB, also cut their rate by 65 basis points. So it also does not make a lot of sense for the Euro to also go up. So there are so many factors right now playing out, and it's kind of really hard to pick a direction. So what we're doing right now is we're tapping into that weekly. We had this daily bearish imbalance to potentially guide us there. That was our supply and demand sandwich when the market is stuck between a higher time frame area and then a lower time frame area. The market tapped in, took out the reaction, and then right now what we're having is we're having a daily bullish imbalance that is exiting out of the weekly here. Weekly, daily. So right now we're starting to get the highest time frames aligning bullish. And that to me right now can potentially draw me into this high. So I am definitely more on the bullish side on Euro USD. Let's see how it's going to tap that daily imbalance on Monday. Let's see how it's going to close. And then let's see how potentially like Tuesday into Wednesday is going to look like. If it starts giving us some bullishness like that, that could be first target. And then of course we can be looking for that high to go as well. But really, I believe we really have to wait for the Fed on Wednesday. So nothing much to say about EU. It definitely looks more bullish. There were some longs also on Friday, some very quick longs that were not really tradable. I looked at it here, but it was just tricky, right? So weekly bullish here, daily bearish here. Then it just consolidated, not really offering anything. And then there was Thursday that all of a sudden during the late hours, it just started impulsing higher. Why? I don't know, right? And then Friday pretty much ended up the day choppy. So currently, the main area that I'm looking at is this daily bullish imbalance. I would like to see Monday to come in, reject, and then Tuesday to start guiding us higher into this high. And then potentially, if the market is really going to play out long, we are potentially going to get setups. Because if the market goes long, then this is the target. And then eventually this also becomes a target. But if it flushes lower, then guess what? We're going to adapt, start targeting this low, then start targeting that low, and then this one. It's quite easy, right? The thing is, we just have to wait for the market to show us its hand, and then potentially we adapt to what it shows us. So more bullish than bearish on Euro USD. Let's see how it goes. Let's check out GU. So what I just saw actually is that we are reacting from that monthly bearish imbalance to the left here. So that is a very nice reaction area that the market tapped in. And right now it's kind of giving us the reaction. But you can see we haven't moved as much so far. However, we're starting to give some very nice bullish confluences. So we are actually spending already 2 weeks inside this weekly bullish imbalance. That is resonating together with that very big sell to buy to the left. And you can see this week actually tapped a little bit deeper into that order block, into that massive sell to buy. and it printed a very nice rejection candle. So this to me is a bullish sign, which once again feeds on the idea of the bullish Euro USD, which kind of gives me an overall bearish DXY vibe. But that could definitely change, right? So that could definitely change. Don't get married to your bias. Now, dropping onto the daily time frame, there is currently also nothing to stop price and push it lower on the daily. There was only one little thing, which was right here. That very tiny daily imbalance, the market tapped in, fulfilled the target, and then we actually expanded higher here on Thursday. And currently, similar to Euro USD, we're having a daily bullish imbalance, but it's extremely tiny, right? It's extremely tiny. Now, keep in mind, we're also having a Bank of England interest rate decision this week on Thursday, I believe. So you should know that potentially the pound right now will be waiting for that. So it could come in here, it could consolidate, maybe it could fake out a little bit, it could start giving you the bullishness, and then after that rate comes out on Thursday, that is potentially when the market could either, of course, expand lower or expand higher. So currently getting into next week, I would say I am more bullish than I am bearish. I really do like also this kind of, we had range manipulation again, then range manipulation again, and right now we're starting to expand. So if we start holding from this overall area here and start building some bullish order flow, I do believe overall we can start going long. So again, very nice area here, weekly imbalance, weekly sell to buy, starting to also start getting bullish on the daily. So if we continue with that order flow, even on the 4-hourly time frame, right, then I do believe this could be a very nice target. And then of course, continuing with this high, breaking that reaction from that monthly reaction area. And then of course, you can even start looking for further targets somewhere right here. So GU also looks longs to me, but again, I wouldn't really rush to say anything until I get the Fed first, and then until I get the Bank of England on Thursday as well. Aussie dollar is next on the list. Now, once again, this one is a pure consolidation. It's just like super unclear. Swept this low, swept this high. Right now we're opening still inside the previous monthly range, high and low. On the weekly time frame, it's just a mess. It went massively down, it went massively up, and right now it's starting to go down yet again with a weekly bearish imbalance, which is really not nice. Because we had all of these bearishness here, we had all of that bullishness here, and right now all of a sudden we're tapping into all of these bullish imbalances to the left that again are suggesting usually bullish momentum. But right now we are pulling back with an opposing imbalance. This to me is just right now 50-50 price action. This is going to create a consolidation in between these two areas. So really not a high probability pair to be traded. Now again, from that weekly, we're getting this daily bullish as well. So again, you can see you have right now two higher time frames aligned in the same direction. So if you could get something like that as a very nice, that could even be an intra-week opportunity, that would be great to potentially take a long from that daily to target the weekly. And then after the weekly, you wait for the market to potentially react. And if it breaks the reaction, then you can potentially start looking for the longs, right? So then, of course, transferring on to the 4-hourly time frame. Well, the 4-hourly time frame is nice. Again, you can see it's more bullish. The bearish pullback here is quite nice. Daily imbalance very nicely resting below this swing low here. So to me, a very nice setup will be this one. So if we do get this on Aussie dollar, potentially like Tuesday, right? Tuesday, if you can manage to catch a little long, if it plays out like that, I do believe it's going to be very nice. But if we start getting into Wednesday, then it's a lot better to wait for the Fed and then, of course, see what the market wants to do overall. So that is my outlook on Aussie dollar. Really nothing to say. There was a long trade here that I did not take because it was kind of late into Friday and there were no news. So didn't really think the market could push. So I did skip this one. And apart from that, nothing really, right? Nothing really. There was another trade that I had one member take profit here on that bullish move, but to me that was also low probability looking at it here, especially on the lower time frame. So no trades for me this week. This is the outlook on Aussie dollar, overall looking bullish into that weekly. Let's see how it goes. NZUSD, pretty much the same thing as the Aussie, monthly massive bullish, right now inside bar, dropping onto the weekly time frame. Do we have a bearish imbalance here? Okay, so this one I do think it's actually not really having one, which is a good sign. And we're still tapping into this weekly zone together with that massive weekly sell to buy here that acts also as support. So let's see how that's gonna look like on the lower time frames. Dropping onto the daily time frame. Unfortunately, here we do not have a daily bullish imbalance, but we also don't have any bearishness here. All right, so kind of 50-50, no bullishness, no bearishness. That's all right. And then of course we dropped to the hourly time frame, and here it was an absolute mess until we had that pop-up higher. And right now we're kind of pulling back without any imbalances going lower. The market is pulling back into the very last imbalance here, deep into discount, right? So if you of course draw your PD range, the market is pulling back towards 50% right now, together with this very nice OB here, this very nice sell to buy. So all the USDs are right now looking a little bit more bullish to me. Pretty much all of them, EU, GU, AU, and NU. But we really have to wait potentially for the Fed and to see if the dollar is actually going to really agree with that idea that we have. So that is NZUSD. I do believe Aussie dollar, so they have pros and cons. Aussie dollar has that weekly imbalance clearly. This one, I don't think that's a bearish imbalance. So there is nothing to stop price if NZUSD will decide to go higher. That one can run faster, while Aussie dollar can pull back, react, and then run faster. Okay, but I truly need to see right now the market to establish that structure and to establish the order flow. So to me, a high probability trade will be to actually wait for this market to react, to print you another bullish leg, another break of structure with an imbalance, and then potentially look to start guiding you higher towards that liquidity point here. All right, so that would be my idea. But again, first I would require the market to really commit. And then, of course, when the market commits, that's when it gets easy. Most of the money is lost in conditions like that, right? Trying to pick bottoms or seeing the first signs that the market wants to go higher. And then, so for example, here, right, looks like it wants to go higher, manipulate. Here, consolidate. You think it's going to go higher, it could still consolidate, okay? So wait for the market to actually establish that trend, and then it's going to be pretty easy to target the highs. Well, gold, after an eternity of chop, it actually finally started going towards all-time highs. So yeah, we had 3 weeks of the market doing nothing. We had this weekly bullish imbalance, so the market didn't reach it. Maybe on another broker it did. If I just very quickly check the gold futures, it probably did there. Yeah, there we go. So that is the difference. This is why it's probably a lot better to look at futures chart. There is that weekly imbalance. The market actually tapped it, and currently it's starting to follow through, right? But all-time highs right now. So a lot of liquidity is taken. All-time highs. It's always tricky to be trading at all-time highs because you can then expect for the market to start pulling back. Massive 2 daily candles here, creating that daily bullish imbalance. The market reaching all-time highs. So yeah, how far could it go? Nobody knows. So don't try to catch the top, right? And then on the hourly time frame, nothing to really strongly push the market higher. So for gold, I don't really have anything to say. Like, it was a massive chop. I advised all of my traders and also you guys to pretty much avoid trading all of this because the market could have picked any direction. But then all of a sudden here on Thursday, something happened in the market that just decided to start rocking. But gold had the best move, right? So we saw EU, we saw AU like make a little bit of a move, but not like gold. Gold really pushed. So daily imbalance here, this is eventually something that I would definitely love to see getting pulled back into and then to potentially trade towards new highs. But with the Fed rate coming in, I would just wait. I would just wait on gold. Guys, don't try to catch the top right now. The market is literally bullish. It's literally giving you all the signs to go long. If you want to go short, then of course wait for structure breaks, wait for trend changes, and then potentially try to trade into that daily imbalance. But if not, if the market continues to print even 4-hourly bullishness, then just keep following it, okay? So nothing really to say on gold because we don't have any sort of context to work with yet. When the market makes new all-time highs, you see it usually makes them with a very nice push higher, and then it usually tends to return back into the range. So again, wait on it, wait to see what's going to happen, wait for the Fed, and then of course we could have some more clarity and clear targets to trade into potentially the week after this week. USD JPY finally heading for our main liquidity point here. This is what I've been targeting for quite a while, but the market really took its time. Since tapping into this weekly bearish imbalance here, it spent quite a few weeks actually kind of chopping around. It came in, it came out, pulled back, rushed lower, and then this week it's continuing to rush lower, getting super close to that low. It probably even took it on another broker. All right. Now, dropping onto the daily time frame, it wasn't the best price action, honestly, especially on the daily. Like you can see Monday bullish, Tuesday kind of inside bar, Wednesday rushed lower but massively rejected. And yeah, pretty much the overall move down happened on Friday, right? And maybe on Wednesday if you manage to catch that short trade. Dropping onto the volatile time frame here, it got a little bit like not very nice. Again, pushing lower, massively retracing back in. There was that trade on Friday. I had a community member catch this short, which was pretty nice. Forward imbalance, guiding us into that draw on liquidity, but we still stopped without taking it. So if I just like very quickly go to check out the man, and now I'm not prepared because I don't know what are the JPY. There we go. If I just go to the futures chart, but that right now is inverted. Yeah, that's how it usually goes. Yeah, you can see in this case, that high is already taken. So this is the high we're targeting on the other charts. If I just flip this, there it is. That's exactly what we're targeting. There is your bearish imbalance here, right? Targeting that low. Futures took it. Forex, not really, right? So that's the ugly thing about those brokers. So right now, again, on USD JPY, we can expect anything. The key was to trade towards that liquidity area. The market is already there right now. We can see it also on the futures chart. So right now the market can do many things. It can start pulling back during the Fed, but it can continue flushing lower as well. I would recommend you wait right now for daily zones because you literally don't have anything on the 4H. We don't also have anything on the daily. So let's see how Monday is going to play out. Is it going to form a daily bearish imbalance here? But I would just suggest right now to wait, right? So this is the short move good. That short move was good. And then this short move was good. Right now, as it's taking that massive liquidity point, it could do many things, right? Could do many things. So stepping aside, waiting for potentially some sort of another pullback, and then maybe to target new lows. That's USD JPY, not the best position of price right now to be trading. So I'm going to be giving it some more time. Well, Euro Yen pretty similar to USD JPY as well, headed towards that liquidity point and also this liquidity point here, getting very slowly there. Weekly time frame, yeah, we had a very nice expansion last week here, then this week still continues on, which is great. But right now with Euro USD looking a lot bullish, that one could start potentially struggling. But a very nice daily imbalance trade here, tapped in, continues on. There is yet another target. So you can see on Euro Yen, we have 3 targets to fulfill, which is quite crazy. And yes, right now on the volatile time frame, yeah, the market taps in, reacts, and then pulls back again, and then it goes. There is also that volatile bearish imbalance, the same as the one on USD JPY. And right now, potentially headed towards that low. So yeah, it's not getting there. So usually if that was normal trading hours, I would say wait for some sort of a 1 hourly or even 15-minute trade to get there. And then pretty much wait for 4 hourly or daily to guide you to here, okay? But right now being Saturday and not really knowing how the market's gonna open, I would still say that if you get a 1 hourly potentially, like it really depends on what kind of confluences and what kind of zones you use. But if you start getting like a 1 hour imbalance in my case, right, I would potentially look to guide the market here. And then after this is taken, I will look for a higher time frame imbalance retest, right? If you're trading the lower time frames, then of course you can be dropping to the 50-minute, waiting for breaks of structure and the valid ranges, right? And then your supply and demand zones, and then going towards that liquidity target, okay? So that's what I'm going to say on Euro JPY. I'm bearish. I do think, for example, this target here is very likely to get taken. So let's see if it does. And if you can trade into it, great. GBP JPY also quite similar, heading for that previous monthly low on the weekly time frame. Again, that weekly imbalance tapped in, right now continuing going lower with a brand new weekly bearish imbalance, which is quite nice because it suggests that GJ has a lot more weakness than the others. But you can see right now, yeah, we also had that very tiny daily imbalance here. The market pulls back in, and right now potentially we have that very short-term target similar to what we had on EJ. And in terms of the volatile time frame here, you can see that this one did not tap into the imbalance while the others did, which is once again, like if you're trading one pair, it's a little bit of a drawback because in this case, if we were just trading GJ, that doesn't give you an opportunity while UJ and EJ gave you, right? So that's the trick here. But currently stuck here in the middle, we have hourly above, we have weekly above as well. So is the market going to print 1 hourly imbalances going lower? to that zone? Is the market going to pull back to the hourly and then go lower, or is the market going to start pulling back to that weekly and then potentially start flipping lower? Those are the three situations I see, but and again, it really depends on UJ, because UJ already took that liquidity, and if it has taken the liquidity, then potentially all the JPY pairs are going to start moving in that same direction. Okay, so be careful, but I do think this very close liquidity target for EJ and for GJ is quite nice. So if we do get some quick scalps into that area, I think it could be pretty nice, right? So that's my bias on the JPYs. Right now, let's flick to the indices. All right. Are we headed for new all-time highs? Well, we're getting pretty close right now. And I think, again, the Fed rate cuts and whatever happens like within the next few months is really going to determine if we're going to like continue pushing higher very nicely, or if we're going to start getting some sort of a pullback. Because usually historically when the Fed starts doing like the rate cuts to stimulate, usually it kind of starts dumping like that. But let's see, of course. Weekly time frame here, tapping into that weekly bullish imbalance, and we can see this week we're absolutely destroying a new potential bearish imbalance. So that should be blue. Come on, trading view, right? Not changing. All right, so heading towards all-time highs here, dropping onto the daily time frame. Yeah, so we had massive bearishness, and right now this week we're having a very nice bullishness, which is why last week I said that is a pretty good buying opportunity, just to dollar cost average if you're investing. I personally didn't buy on that one. I literally bought down here, so then buying here, it's not gonna really give me a lot of benefit. I usually look for a lot bigger drops to deposit more money. But yeah, right now potentially headed towards that all-time highs, printing very nice daily bullish imbalances here. So there's the last one. That is something that we can really look to take. And why does not TradingView change my colors? So that could be very nice if we're actually going to pull back to then guide us into the all-time highs. Hourly time frame, like we finished Friday in a very choppy manner here. Nothing really created on the hourly time frame. We're having some resistance here to the left in the form of this unretested imbalances. So I would really love to see a daily pullback. I would really love to see a daily pullback to then potentially start flipping towards all-time highs. Now, am I calling all-time highs? Well, I would say yes. We came in super close here, and then all of a sudden we started pulling back into the weekly to fulfill all of that buy side inefficiency here. You can see we're just massively pushing higher, so it was only buys. The market came to fill that with only sales, and right now we're pulling back to fill also all the sales. And then potentially we're gonna head for liquidity, for external liquidity, which is that high. So how are we gonna get there? Either by something on the hourly time frame or potentially the daily. So that's my outlook for SPX, right? It's heading towards all-time highs. I do think we could potentially take out all-time highs before maybe we start once again giving a deeper correction. So let's see how it goes. Let me know what you guys think about it as well. Now, NASDAQ is slightly bit different because this one is too far away from all-time highs. We can see SPX is almost already there. NASDAQ, not even close, right? So we still had that very nice weekly bullish imbalance. Let's see if TradingView is gonna, oh, nice. So SPX was hating me as it wasn't changing my colors. Weekly imbalance, candle 1, candle 2 was absolutely massive. That really made me think after this candle that the market is gonna start heading lower. But then this week is showing me something different. It's also an inside bar, which means that next week we can very easily take out the previous weekly high and then even head for that very recent liquidity high here. On the daily time frame as well, like it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good for longs once again. Shifting that order flow, we came in very sharply bearish. And then right now we're coming in very sharply bullish. So there is the first target on the daily, second target on the weekly. There is the setup. If this happens, it will be absolutely lovely. On the hourly time frame, again, Friday closed in a very choppy manner here. So nothing really to say about that. It could just rush to take the liquidity right now, and if it takes the liquidity, then I'm going to look for a rebalance and then once again to potentially start shifting higher. So that's NASDAQ. Nothing really to say much about it. I am bullish. If SPX is going to also continue with the bullishness, we could potentially have that one push higher as well. Now, is NASDAQ going to reach all-time highs? That is the question. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let's have a quick look at the Dow as well. Very nice pullback lower, potentially right now pushing higher. This one is already super close to all-time highs. This has stayed at all-time highs for quite a lot of time right now. Made a little pullback here in August, then again all-time highs, then a little bit of pullback here. And then right now it's once again headed for new all-time highs as well. On the daily time frame, also a very nice daily bullish imbalance here. And but it's getting very close to all-time high, so it could even be something on the 4H or even something on the 1 hourly time frame to potentially push it there. There is, for example, that 4 hourly imbalance, and then even on the 1 hourly we don't really have anything. But I wouldn't really be surprised if the market just doesn't head for the all-time highs and then just stops and maybe starts then pulling back to some of these areas, because the market usually takes liquidity, then comes back again to pull back to rebalance, then again just keeps repeating that cycle, right? So there's your S30, also looking quite bullish. If you can go long into all-time highs, it also looks pretty good. So the indices overall bullish, all of them. Again, SPX will be my favorite because that one is having a very nice kind of a trading area towards the all-time highs, if of course we can pull back a little bit, right? Nasdaq is a little bit 50-50 because it's still it's a little bit weak, and that is because of the tech stocks, of course. So let's see how they're gonna go. Looking all bullish. Let's see. All right, so full circle back, let's recap. Now, according to me, the DXY is very uncertain because it's just like stuck inside this range for 2-3 weeks right now. However, EURUSD is giving me bullish vibes, weekly bullish imbalance, daily bullish imbalance created a very nice area to potentially be going long, to be taking these highs. GU as well, weekly bullish imbalance, weekly bullish order block here, tapping in, driving us potentially towards those highs. And also AU and NU are all reacting from that weekly imbalance. And again, the big question is what is going to happen with the Fed this week on Thursday? Is it really going to drive the dollar lower, or is it going to drive it higher? That is going to determine what happens with all those major pairs. However, again, all those major pairs are giving me bullishness, which makes me forecast that potentially the DXY can go long, but I'm really no power to be throwing any forecasts before the Fed. Gold making new all-time highs. So again, you gotta be careful. All-time highs on gold are usually always tricky. Tends to take them, then make massive pullbacks, take it here again, massive pullback, take it here again, then it starts consolidating. So yeah, in this case, trading towards all-time highs was absolutely ugly, right? But right now we have taken it. So I suggest we wait a little bit, wait for some structure to form, and then have something to potentially target. USD/JPY taking massive liquidity right now. On the futures chart, it's already taken that low here. So right now, again, we really have to wait for the Fed. And also we have Bank of Japan interest rate and press conference this week. So that is really going to determine the next plan of action for the JPY. Then EJ and GJ, they do have some more shorts to be taken, I do believe. They both have also a weekly bearish imbalance that can potentially drive us lower right now. So if you manage to find like a lower time frame trade to first of all take out that low on EJ and also this low on GJ, I do believe it could be a good scalp. But then you always have to monitor USD/JPY and the course of action for that pair. Indices, they are looking nicely longs. SPX, I'm calling potential all-time highs into the incoming week, especially after the Fed, right? But if it starts flushing, I wouldn't really be surprised because the Fed usually can do some other stuff as well. Nasdaq also looking bullish. Again, this one is far from all-time highs, but if it starts again building that bullish order flow, we have some very close liquidity targets that we can potentially target. US30 also very close to all-time highs. So all the indices are looking bullish, which is quite nice. So I'm going to be looking for longs next week, targeting once again the all-time highs. So that's my plan for next week. I do plan to trade on Tuesday. Wednesday is a full skip. And then of course, Thursday and Friday are potentially my focus days. Let me know how you guys performed this week. Let me know what are your favorite setups for next week. And I didn't do a flow with the markets this week because the market was extremely choppy. There was nothing to say. Next week, I can do potentially one either before the FOMC or maybe Thursday morning in London session. So have a lovely weekend. Let me know how you performed, and I'm going to talk to you soon.